Monday, July 3rd, 2023, Maneco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Today we're going to look at France, and in particular, President Macron. And this is just speculative, of course, but is it a coincidence, or is there more behind the reaction to the killing of this young teenager in France? I think we need to ask the question: has Macron's challenge to the debt-based fiat currency system, has that led to this, to what's going on in France? And there is historical precedent for the same country, and it was back in the 60s, and that's what we're going to look at today. Before we go further into that topic, just wanted to let you know that gold investments here in the UK, they still have a special for 1 ounce gold Krugerrands. They're going for just 1% over spot. If you use my promo code Maneco64, you end up paying 0.5% over spot for acquiring real money. That's the way I see it. And also Glint, they still have a special if you open an account with Glint. Glint, of course, is an app in which you can store gold in Switzerland, and you can use that app to transact between gold and fiat currencies. And they also provide you a MasterCard with which you can spend your gold or your dollars, your euros, or your pound. And right now until July 14th, if you open an account with them and you use my promo code ManecoV50, you get a year of half storage fees and a year of half insurance fees for the gold that they store in Switzerland for you. Just wanted to let you know that. And the thing about gold and silver, yes, they've been kind of under pressure of late, and a lot of people think they haven't really performed well in the current environment. But you look at gold for the last 23 years, it's gained 9.3% per annum in all the major fiat currencies. And I'm not saying that's going to happen in the next 23 years, but I think there's a very good chance of that, because the debt situation in the West is getting worse. And that has, of course, quite a lot to do with what's going on with the dollar and the challenge from the rest of the world, the non-Western world. You can call it the global South or the BRICS plus or whatever. And many of you probably know that a few weeks ago, or maybe even a month ago, there was speculation that President Macron was requesting to be like a special guest at the BRICS summit in South Africa. That's going to take place, I think it starts August 22nd. There's a lot of speculation that there will be a big announcement from the BRICS nations and the other countries that are looking to join BRICS about using gold not as a currency, but as a way to settle trade amongst countries. And that would be, of course, a challenge to the fiat dollar, because 60% or just a little below 60% of foreign exchange reserves are held in paper dollars, in debt. And I said that there is precedent for this challenge to the fiat dollar, and it was Charles de Gaulle, the president of France, back in 1965. He made a speech about this, and he was warning that the US has this system where countries can use the dollar, and that the dollar was as good as gold. But in effect, it wasn't. He was saying that the US partly can print. At the time, they could partly print and inflate, and they were indebting themselves for free. And he called for the return of a system that didn't have the how can I say, the backing or the stamp of any nation. And he said that gold was the only really measure of value or payment method that fulfilled that. So he basically called for the world to go back to pre-1914, the way it was, where countries settled their accounts in gold and sometimes maybe even silver. He talks about that, how the world should go back to how things used to be before World War I, World War II. He uses another term, you know, the disastrous things that happened to the world, the tragedies.
Nous estimons nécessaire que les échanges internationaux soient établis comme c'était le cas avant les grands malheurs du monde, sur une base monétaire indiscutable et qui ne porte la marque d'aucun pays en particulier. Quelle base? En vérité, on ne voit pas qu'il puisse y avoir réellement de critères, d'étalons autres que l'or.
And lo and behold, he faced a big challenge to his to his power in 1968, and there were riots as well. It wasn't from the minorities like it is now. It was from the students, and eventually he had to resign in 1969. Granted, he was almost 80 years old, but it's interesting that I was going through his Wikipedia, and it says here about that period, May 1968. It's really a big historical event in France. It says the June 1968 elections were a major success for the Gaullists and their allies. When shown the specter of revolution or civil war, that's how bad it was getting then, the majority of the country rallied to him. His party won 352 of 487 seats, but de Gaulle remained personally unpopular. A survey conducted immediately after the crisis showed that a majority of the country saw him as too old, too self-centered, too authoritarian, too conservative, and too anti-American. So that was very interesting. And today I saw a tweet by David Brady at Global Pro Trader. And he said, "Who's providing such weapons to these people? It's not like you can buy an RPG at the local Walmart." Well, I don't think there's a Walmart in France, but whatever, it doesn't matter. So, and I've seen some replies. Someone said CIA. Someone said this smells far more like another British color revolution against an increasingly difficult puppeteer, Macron. And why would the British help the Americans? Well, because the Anglo-American Empire is based on debt. That's what it's all about. The fiat dollar and the mini-me, the British pound. It's all about perpetuating this debt-based system. And the BRICS want to challenge that. They want a system that's more based on real things, on commodities, and that's why gold would be so important. And I'm not saying here that we're going to have a BRICS reserve currency. All I think is going to happen is that the BRICS want to have their own currencies, and it will probably have some good amount of backing of gold. And why do they need gold backing? Well, because if you have currencies that are not backed by anything, countries can cheat. They can start printing, like de Gaulle said back in '65. And we have to make sure that there's honest weights and measures. And I think that makes sense. Is it possible that this is what it's all about, you have to wonder. So it's not far-fetched. So there you go. Just going to look at a few other stories here before we look at the markets this morning. And it's to do more with silver. And I think we're seeing a lot of flow out of major exchanges, not just COMEX, but also on the Shanghai Futures Exchange. I just noted that Bai Xiaojun, who I spoke about a few weeks ago, he's a Chinese analyst about silver supply. He thinks there's an imminent crisis, and by imminent he means 1, 2, or about 3 years, that the silver resources are being depleted. A couple of days ago, he noted the silver inventories of Shanghai Futures Exchange has flowed out for 5 consecutive trading days this week, totaling 52,933 kilos. And current vaults is 1.4 million kilos, reaching a new low since silver squeeze of 2020. So there you go. And he noted that the supplies at the Shanghai Futures Exchange, they're being drained as well. And the same thing is happening to COMEX. Silver, we're seeing a lot of silver being drained from there. And the other thing he noted today is that the Shanghai Futures Exchange is trading at about a 4% premium to the COMEX price, which I thought was pretty interesting. I know the spot price or the COMEX price is very frustrating, but I think there's a lot happening underneath the surface. So with that, let's quickly look at where the markets are. This morning, it's 8:36 a.m. London time. Today, I think the U.S. markets will close at 1 p.m. Eastern time. It's a half day. Tomorrow, of course, markets will be closed. So let's quickly have a look here. We've got spot gold trading around $19.15. It's down about $5. Low has been $19.13 and the high has been $21. We've got silver at $22.80. It's up about 2 cents. High's been $22.96 and the low's been $22.70. So I think the Shanghai futures closed at $23.69 equivalent. Of course, it trades in yuan, but if you do the exchange rate, so yeah, 4% premium. The Dow futures is up 4, NASDAQ is up 32, and the S&P is up 3 points. To the currencies, sterling is down 0.2%, 126.69. The euro is down about a third at 108.80. Dollar is up a third versus the yen at 144.80. And the dollar is down about 0.1 versus the yuan at 726. And Bai Xiaojun also noted that ICBC, I think it's one of the biggest banks in China, they've lowered their dollar deposit rates to like below 3%. So that's quite interesting. I think the dollar has been strengthening quite a bit of late versus the yuan. Let's continue with the other currencies. We've got the Aussie dollar down 0.2 at 66.50. We've got the dollar up slightly versus the Canadian dollar, 132.65. And we got the Kiwi dollar unchanged at 61.33. To the general commodities, we got WTI crude down 0.33% at 70.50. We got Brent down 1/3 as well at 75.18. Platinum is down $8, trading around 900. So platinum has had a pretty sharp drop after breaking out about 6 weeks ago, or I'm not sure the exact time, but it had broken out and now it's come back down. Platinum. High-grade copper is up just over 0.5%. Trading at 378. We'll finish off with the bond markets. look at the U.S. Treasury market first. We've got the 2-year yield actually approaching 5%. We're at 4.93, up 5 basis points. The 10-year is up 4 as well at 3.86. And I think I spoke about the bond market yesterday on my live stream. And I said that the level at 4% and then around 4.10 and 4.30 are going to be very important. The 10-year yield has been kept in a range, which is good for the Fed and the Treasury, but I think rates could be going up again, despite the fact that people are talking about hard landing. The head of PIMCO, the biggest active bond fund in the world, said that we could be set for a hard landing for the global economy. But I think this time around, it's not going to be as simple to drive bond yields lower, because we have still rising prices, and central banks maybe can't afford to do massive QE, or maybe they can at the expense of their currencies. Who knows? So let's check out the UK gilt market. We've got the 2-year yield now continuing to move higher. We're up about 8 basis points at 5.35. And we need to keep an eye as well on the 10-year and the 30-year. They're still below 5. I think it's they're highly overvalued. I think the markets are giving the UK government, the Treasury, too much credit to think that they can keep prices from rising. So the 10-year is at 4.44. I think which should be way above 5%. But we'll keep an eye on it anyway. So there you go. Let me know in the comment section what you think about what I said about Macron, the Gaulle, and the challenge to the debt-based dollar. Anyway, with that, I'm going to wish you all a very good day. Take care. Bye.